What's happening, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to Barnabas Brushes, episode 12, hopefully the last of the Ironskull Horde. My name is Patrick. I play the character of Barnabas on the Elite Encounters Soul Sever campaign. It's a Pathfinder 2nd Edition live play set in the homebrew world of Iota Dree. You can catch us every Tuesday night here on Twitch from 6 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. Link to the channel down below in my recommended channels. Be sure to check us out. Look for that banner up there. You can look for us on YouTube as well. You can catch us on podcast platforms. We're uploading some episodes as hopefully soon. We have about 20-30 episodes up there right now. You can catch up to the story as we are and then get up to speed for the live shows that we do every Tuesday. What I do here on this channel, kind of a partner or subsidiary channel of the Elite Encounters group, is I paint miniatures for use in the Elite Encounters live play show. That show over there, we are playing Pathfinder the old school way with our own maps and miniatures. So we bring everything right around the table. We don't use virtual tabletops. We're there in costume, in character, rolling real dice, moving real miniatures on a real battle map with real terrain. And that's how we like to play, old school, just like we used to do it back in the day. So we're keeping that up, keeping that tradition alive through the live play platform, and it's a lot of fun. While we're talking about Elite Encounters, be sure while you're there checking them out to give a check at the new Patreon. We have kind of restructured our Patreon over there to reestablish some tiers, reestablish some subscription goals, and even at some of the lower tiers, you're going to be able to help support us, and in return, we're going to gift you with some really neat physical things you can get your hands on. The higher the tier, the better the rewards. We're talking t-shirts, we're talking hoodies, we're talking custom painted miniatures to have for your own collection, painted by yours truly, if that's what you want. Or just a miniature you can paint yourself if that's what you want. If you want an STL of one of your favorite characters from the Elite Encounter shows, it could be Barnabas. I don't know. That's up to you. Maybe it's not Barnabas. It could be one of the other ones. Who knows? But it's probably Barnabas. And if it is, hit us at that tier. That $15 tier, I believe, should get you the... maybe it's the $20 tier, sorry, should get you the printed miniature. But we need that support because we are working on bringing... hey, good afternoon, Pelican. Appreciate you coming by. We need that support out there because we are working on bringing you new technology to help increase our platform and bring you new content. We are working on some ideas. There's some things going on in the background to bring even more live play content to you, whether that's another more shows out in the wild, so to speak, in gaming stores. We're wanting to bring more and more of this content to more and more of the gaming community out there. We're in a great place for it. We're in a great time in history for it. Gaming is more popular than ever right now. So we'd like to, have you join us in this journey to expand our content. Speaking of content, that's what I'm here to do tonight, is to paint some miniatures for said content. I'm going to be working on some Ironskull miniatures. What I do have here on the shot to get us started is right here on this channel, Barnabas Brushes, we are making the push toward 50 followers. We're well over halfway there now, past the halfway mark. We're pushing to 50. Once we hit 50 followers, we're going to be giving away a custom painted WizKids Beholder miniature. This is the blank right here. Once we get to 50, a random follower will be chosen to receive this custom painted to their color specifications by me. So in the meantime, we'll say goodbye to Mr. WizKids Beholder, and we'll get going on these Ironskull. What are these guys? Ironskull Executioners? Yep, I was right. Ironskull Executioners. You can see the cover art there. This is from the Epic Encounters line of miniatures produced by Steamforged Games. These kits are produced with a number of miniatures inside, a small booklet that includes a number of encounters using those miniatures, and a double-sided flip mat to use for your role-playing game delight. We've started on these last week, or actually two of these included in the kit. We started off with a Slapchop Prime, And then we laid down some color on the exposed skeletal pieces of these models. So we're going to continue to paint away on these and bring these to life with some of our colors. Most of you know out there that watch the channel fairly regularly that we work almost exclusively in speed paints. That's what we're going to do here tonight, is work on these guys with speed paints over this Slap Chop Prime, front view, back view of the Ironskull Executioner. Before we get going, the first thing I'm going to need is some paper towels. You got to keep your brushes clean. Pardon me. Okay, so there's a lot of detail going on in these models. Most of the skeletal structure has been painted. And now we need to work on... hey Laura, how's it going? Hello back. So we've got, looks like some kind of rotting pants that we'll need to paint here. And then a lot of metal armor. We've got like a knee. We've got some greaves. These pieces over the hips. Pauldrons, greaves, bracers, breastplate. But we do have some little leather fiddly bits going on, like the straps to the greaves here, that we'll deal with. Some leather strips around the axe handle. And probably the handle or hilt of this sword. So let's work with the leather first. For any of the leather bits, I'm going to use speed paint hardened leather. That's my go-to color for leathers. Unless I need something like either lighter color, like well-worn, or darker. I'll still end up mixing hardened leather in there to give it that rich brown texture. Put a small drop or two in a hard palette. And a brush with a nice tip. For speed paints, I'm always using really inexpensive synthetic golden Taklon brushes. Primarily because the medium in this paint will wick right up into your ferrule in your brushes and ruin your bristles over time. So I don't like to use expensive brushes with speed paints. We'll get these leather straps first. This paint is fairly fluid. It's fairly flowy, for lack of a better term. So you just have to kind of touch the brush where you want it to go, and the paint will work its way into the texture of the model. So that should be all the leather bits on his axe handle. Got a little bit of paint where I didn't want it to go, so I'm just going to load my brush with water and brush it out. And then take a dry brush and wipe away that wet paint, and it just comes right off. Okay, second model. Same idea here. We're going to get these straps. Well, if you're still listening, are we picking up the music okay out there? I had to tweak the volume a little bit after some feedback from the crew last night. Just want to make sure it's it's coming through, but it's not overwhelmingly loud. Thanks, guys. Jinx, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. How are you doing this evening? Great work last night on the audio for the Elite Encounter show. When that torch, that brazier lit up and the flames kicked in right at the right time, I mean, man, that was what a great addition to the team, TJ. I'm so glad you're there. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. Just, old man back. That's all. Comes with the territory. Speaking of last night's episode, what a fun time. I mean, the puzzle portion of last night, I think really kind of had us really getting the old brain juices flowing, both as players and characters. And then when we finally figured it out, I mean, it was a cool sense of accomplishment, but it was just step one of getting through into the plane that we needed to get into. And then that kicked into a well-timed combat encounter. What a great time. If you didn't get a chance to catch it live, you could still go to the Elite Encounters channel and watch it at your leisure for the next week or so. And then the video on demand will get loaded up to YouTube, hopefully on Friday. So either of those platforms, be sure to check it out, because it was probably one of my top 5 episodes that Elite Encounters has done. And, it's in the top 10%, if that tells you anything. Actually, less than 10%, because we've done now 59 episodes. Yeah, it was a great time. Thanks, Laura, for seconding my take on it, because as a player, it was just fun to be at the table last night when those And that puzzle just really put us through the mental check, right? Yeah, it was a good time. Okay, so next we've got the leather bits done. We do have this little bit of a tabard that's kind of hanging down under the breastplate that we're going to add some color to. And I think for that to keep us consistent with the knights, I'm going to use kind of the same color that we did with the knights, which was a kind of a nice blue color. And for that, I'm going to use magic blue. Yeah, that's funny that you should say that, because Squirrel and I were talking about it on the way home. We carpooled to the studio. The puzzle was really engaging for us, but we're sure that for whoever was watching, they were probably engaged and participating and trying to figure out that puzzle themselves, right? And that's, to me, that's just great entertainment when you get kind of involved and invested in the show personally, and you start interacting with it or participating in it. I mean, I'm sure some people were out there trying to figure it out with us. Some people were probably yelling at the screen or their phone or whatever they're watching us, like, "You idiots, you're supposed to do this and do that, and stop throwing bombs in that brazier, it's already lit." Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll shut up talking about it, but it was fun, so. Alright, so just a couple drops of this magic blue. The version I'm going to use is the Speed Paint 1.0, so we'll have some wet reactivation, so I have to be careful of that. Let's put it right down the texture of that tabard that's kind of hanging out from under his breastplate. And there's a little bit of it up here as well. And then the piece that's on the back. Would be remiss if I didn't point out that the music tonight was provided by the Into the Wilds Battle Maps Kickstarter. There's some free music pieces that are to use for encounters on the maps that were kickstarted. You're not a fan of the music, huh? I suppose we could mute it a little bit or turn it down, sure. Okay, interesting point here as we're going through painting the deeper parts of the model is that the model's arm here between this piece, the pauldron and the bracer, that's a skeletal arm. So we need to paint that with our bone color. I'm sure everyone knows that the color most frequently used for that is pallid bone. That's the one I like to use for any of our skeletons. That's the one we're using on these Ironskull undead. I just need a tiny bit though, because there's just a couple little pieces to work with. Harlequin, I appreciate the feedback. Actually, it's I know you say it's my broadcast or whatever, but it's for us, right? It's for us to enjoy as a group. So, if the music is overwhelming, I have no problem. Maybe if I pick a different piece or something. All right. So there's both arm bones. Piece of cake. All right, so now we've got the kind of a shirt here underneath the armor and then these pants. Think about what color I want to use for these clothes. That's pretty much all the clothes underneath the armor. We do have the boots. I think I'll do the boots in just black leather. Oh, that's almost fun. Right, that's the extent of our boots. I think that will work on the color that takes up most of the model, which is the armor. So I'll get a new palette for this. And for the armor, I'm going to kind of do a blend here. I'm going to take some enchanted steel. These are the Speed Paint 2.0 line. This is a true metallic acrylic paint, but it is in a Speed Paint medium, so it still has that really good flow. But it does have really fine metallic flake in the paint, so you'll get that metallic reflectiveness on your model with this. But I'm going to tone down the brightness a little bit by adding just a little tiny bit of the black speed paint, just to kind of add some more darkness. Tone down the blue steel color. So put a few drops of that and add one drop of black. Maybe even just a brush full. Alright, so everything on this model that is steel, like the armor and the axe head, we're going to paint with this concoction here I mixed up. And this will flow just like normal speed paints, with the heavier pigments flowing into the darker parts, the deeper parts of the model, to create that shadow. And the brighter pigments will stay on top. Once this dries, I can always hit this with a dry brush of a brighter metallic to kind of catch the edges of the axe head and the hard edges of the armor. to give it another layer of brightness. But I'm going to let it fully dry before I do that and see how it looks first. Right. That's pretty much everywhere we have this steel color. There is some really cool trim going on the pauldrons. There's an outer trim, and then there's kind of this little tiny filigree inside. I think we might have to do that. We'll go over that with some gold once this base of this dark steel kind of settles down and dries out. Meanwhile, I've noticed that I missed some areas with this with the blue I needed over here. So we'll hit that real quick. Our paint is still workable. Right, back to our dark steel color. This axe head has so much texture to it, I think I will add to that by doing a really bright silvery metallic highlight on the edges, just to accentuate that additional texture. Definitely a lot of metal on this model, a lot of armor pieces. Alright, so we're going to let this dry down and we'll take a look at our first model and see where we're at with the armor there. And maybe we'll start working in on some of the gold trim. to kind of this is a lot of dark steel. It's kind of boring to the eye. There's not a whole lot to really pop and catch your eye, except maybe that blue piece. So we're going to add just a little bit of gold trim to it just to give it some character, even though it's an undead. His armor just has too much cool detail to just let it all be one color. Doesn't take very long for the 2.0 formulation of speed paint to dry. Touch up this pauldron a little bit. Looks like some of it got knocked off, maybe. Okay. Let's try a little golden armor. This is another one of the Army Painter speed paint metallics. Army Painter is pretty famous for having some of the best metallics on the market. Their metal flake and their pigment thickness, pigment density, all really good. Start off with that interesting belt buckle. And we're just going to follow along the trim of the armor. There we go. Now he's a little more interesting to look at, I guess. The only detail left is this sword sticking out of the side here, where he's been stabbed. Whether he was stabbed before he died and get reanimated as an undead, or after the fact when he was an undead creature. Well, I don't know. I guess that's up to you to tell the story at your table with the model. But what a cool detail to add to the sculpt. In fact, thanks, Laura. Yep. Just trying to capture what the sculptor was trying to do with the model here. Hopefully, do it some justice. I think that's all of the gold trim we're going to add to this guy. I don't want to overdo it. But pretty much all that leaves for these guys now is the base. Thank you. He's quite a handsome undead executioner. But he'll round out the model kit, I think, pretty well. There's 2 of these. But yeah, we've been painting them for 12 weeks, and we're almost done with the kit. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive. That's the beauty of speed paints, is they really speed up your throughput on your models. All your unpainted minis you have in your collection. The one coat solution for model painting is super nice. Now there's a little extra work maybe in the priming for these, depending on how you want to prime them. You can always do some extra layering and highlighting on them if you want some extra depth and detail to your models. But for a quick and easy one coat, I'll take it. Alright, so we've got a lot of loose stone pieces here. We're just going to do in a kind of a stone gray color. The color itself is Gravelord Gray. This bottle is almost empty. I've used it quite a lot. You can tell by the label it's got a lot of wear and tear on it. A lot of mileage out of this color. That's not stone, that's a bone. We'll have to go over that with a bone color. There's another bone. Look at that. It's fun when you find little details in the sculpt as you're painting. Fun but frustrating, especially if you didn't plan on having to do that particular color. That's alright. We'll catch these bones and finish this base out. Same thing over here. As this dries down, the black in this paint will settle into the cracks of the stone, and the lighter gray pigment will stay on the edges and highlight the stone structure. It looks really dark gray going on, but as it dries, it defines itself. And you can always highlight it after it dries if you want a little bit more pop to your stones. Okay, we'll let that dry and then probably work on finishing those up off air, actually. We're just going to finish out the mud in the base in between those stones. And you guys have seen me paint mud before. It's not super entertaining, so we'll probably do that off air. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody for popping by. TJ, thanks for coming in and hanging out hanging out with us for a little while. Thanks everyone else for coming in and watching and hanging out and painting some minis with me. As always, be sure to check out Elite Encounters' flagship show on Tuesday, the Soul Severed campaign. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern live on Twitch. The link to the channel is down below me there. And be sure to catch on, tomorrow evening, Overwatch will be streaming some gaming. And I believe he mentioned last night he was going to do Farm Simulator tomorrow at the request of one of our elite subscribers out there. That's the game he's going to stream tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. His link to his channel is down there. There's a link down there to Laura's channel as well, who streams all kinds of fun games, and she's a lot of fun to watch as well as she explores a lot of those worlds. I caught her doing some Harry Potter the other night. That was kind of fun. And then I'll be back Monday for some more miniature painting streaming on My Miniature Mondays. As always, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all the follows, likes, subscribes, whatever you're doing out there. Be sure to check out the new Patreon setup with the new tiers. We've put a lot of thought into there on how we can restructure that and make it more valuable for you to subscribe to the Patreon and get a little bit something as a thank you in return, something physical that you can put in your hands, that you can wear on your back, that you can wrap around your t-shirt. If you get the hoodie tier, any level of support you guys can grant us out there, we certainly do appreciate it, because it's the gifts of people like you, the patronage of people like you, the subscribing of folks like you that keep us going, that allow us to continue to develop our show and make it better for you, and give you more and better, hopefully entertaining content as we continue to grow here at Elite Encounters. So, as always, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Good evening.